Yo, what's going on, dudes? HK Titan here with a brand new video for you guys, and in today's video, I have a banger plan for you guys because we're going to be taking on this week's boss balloon. And not only are we going to be taking on this week's boss balloon, but we're also going to be adding a pretty difficult challenge to this week's boss. First of all, with this boss balloon has a 200% health as well as 200% speed. So not only is the dreadbloon going to be a tanky boy, but he's also going to be a speedy boy as well. Now, the challenge that I'm going to be doing today is we are only allowed to use one attacking tower at any given point in time. So that means we're only allowed to have a singular tower that can attack balloons on the screen at any given point in time, which is going to make this really challenging. Now, because I am doing this really difficult challenge, of course we're going to be using mods, and we have quite the selection of mods that we're going to be attempting to do this challenge with. So first, for our first attacking tower, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a dart monkey. So because we're going to be trying to do this difficult challenge, we're going to have to grab ourselves a bunch of money. So of course, as always in every boss event, we want to go ahead and try to grab as many farms as we can, right? So luckily, this boss balloon is on cubism, so it shouldn't be too bad. I just don't know if the buffing towers that I chose are going to end up giving the one tower enough to take on a boss balloon. So the buffing towers that we're going to be using for this event, we're going to go ahead and of course use the alchemist, as well as we're going to be using the AI programming turtle, which the AI programming turtle can actually make us some extra money. So that's why I wanted to use the turtle. On top of that, we're also going to be using the passive bat, which also is another buffing tower. It's a little bit on the strange side, but it's also really cool. On top of that, we're also going to be using the village, and we're also going to be taking advantage of the engineer monkey as well. Now, I have no idea if this is going to be possible, but I definitely want to give it a try because I thought this sounded like a really interesting idea, right? Now, one thing I want to do, I do have the Infinite Heroes mod on, so we're going to go ahead and take advantage of the Infinite Heroes. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a couple more Benjamin. And then after we have 4 or 5 Benjamin, then we'll get back to buying farms. Now, I don't know if going for the Benjamins are the correct idea, but at least if we go for the Benjamins, we should be able to afford quite a few towers, hopefully. Now, as I was saying, we're only allowed to use one attacking tower at any given point in time, so the dart monkey won't last very long. So we're gonna have to come up with another tower that's gonna give us quite a bit of popping power. On top of that, we also need to, oh wait, no, we're up against the dreadbloon. Oh dude, no, we're just gonna have to, oh dude, this is gonna be such a hard challenge because not only are we gonna have to sell and buy towers mid-round, man, what am I doing? This is such a dumb idea. If it was any other boss, I wouldn't be so hesitant, but this is actually gonna be pretty crazy. I can't believe I almost forgot that the dreadbloon becomes immune to towers. Oh man, I can't believe I almost forgot that the dreadbloon has stages. Oof, what was I thinking? This challenge may actually be a little bit harder than I initially thought. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a bunch of farms set up, and I'll bring you guys back when we start to ride the struggle bus a little bit. All right, round 18, we have 4 banana farms up. Now we're starting to ride the struggle bus with some of these balloons. So let's go ahead and upgrade our defense a little bit, and let's go ahead and grab ourselves a dart monkey and upgrade the dart monkey up to a crossbow. All right, so now that we've upgraded to the crossbow, let's go ahead and continue our farming. Now, I did end up grabbing myself 4 Benjamins because I want to make a little bit of extra money per round. And so far, it's working out really well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stop my farming now that we have, actually, let's just go ahead and go for 7 farms. After we go for 7 farms, let's go ahead and start upgrading the farms up to marketplaces. Now on round 26, we're going to be getting our first lead balloons. So that's when we're going to have to switch up our starting strategy a little bit. So I don't know exactly what tower I want to go for right now. So I don't know which would be a good idea. If we go for an alchemist, the alchemist is going to end up buffing our tower, but the only thing I'm worried about is the alchemist, technically it is a buffing tower, but at the same time it can also pop balloons. But I mean, since it's a buffing tower, I think it should be fine. Let's go ahead and grab acidic mixture dip so our crossbow can pop leads. I don't think I need to overthink it that much because the alchemist really isn't going to pop that many balloons, and it's also going to provide a big buff to our crossbow, right? All right, so this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. Let me go ahead and grab a AI programming turtle. So increase cash generation up to 250. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this. as well as I'm going to buy streamer donations that gain an additional $25 for every tower in range up to 10. Actually, I think I have to sell this. Wait, no. Oh, dude, I could have left to here because there's the farms do count as towers, right? So let's also grab a sub tier. Gain an additional $10 for every upgrade on towers in range up to 50. So we'll go ahead and grab these sub tiers. And then now that we have these sub tiers, this should be making us a little bit of extra cash, right? Now, the next thing I want to do, let me go ahead and grab myself a couple more marketplaces. And then after we grab a couple more marketplaces, we might as well go for the bat that's going to end up helping us out as well. So the bat is going to be the passive bat. And nearby towers can move once per minute. And then we have bat fangs. Nearby towers have a 1/8 chance of critting, dealing 2 times damage. Increased range and grants camo detection. The Echo Bat really isn't that overpowered, but I think it should be a pretty solid tower for us to go for, right? Let's go ahead and grab Sharpshooter now, because now our Dart Monkey is actually starting to fall behind quite bad. Now we need to start thinking of a defense that we're going to go for the tier 1 boss. Now, what tower is going to end up like allowing us to deal with the tier 1 boss? I actually have 2 towers in mind that I think will work out quite nicely. The first tower is going to be the middle pathway Carpet of Spikes. And the second tower is going to be the Elite Defender. So the Elite Defender and the Carpet Spike should end up working out quite nicely. But the only thing I'm worried about is I'm really worried about the rock balloons. So because the rock balloons can give us a little bit of a hard time, I don't know what other tower I want to go for. Oh, dude, you know what? We could go for the Necromancer. Oh, dude, the Necromancer could be so good. But the problem is that I've never used the Necromancer up against the boss. So I don't know how good it'll be, right? So round 39, let's go ahead and turn off our auto start. And then we'll go ahead and choose what tower we're going to choose first. So I think for the first tower, I think it would be a wise idea to go for the Carpet of Spikes. And then after we get to where the support temples are going to be no longer effective, I think it would be a good idea to go for what would be a good tower to go for? Would the tax shooter end up working? Oh, dude, I don't know. But let's go ahead and start with the Carpet of Spikes, because I know the Carpet of Spikes is going to end up doing really well. So we need $40,000. So let's go ahead and sell a couple of these farms. There we go. And let's go ahead and start round 40. And there's our first Carpet of Spikes. Okay, so hopefully this works out, guys. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to end up working out as good as I think it's going to work out, but I think we should be fine. But again, the only question is I don't know what I'm going to do for the support immune phase. So let's go ahead, sell this. What are we going to do? Let's use the magic tower and let's go for the tech tear, as well as ultra vision. So I don't know if the tech tear is going to work, but I think it should, because it does have quite a bit of popping power, right? Oh, dude, I should have went for the top pathway, and then if I went for the top pathway, I would have been able to grab the like a villager, something like that, and that should have ended up working, right? Okay, so the tech tear is not doing as much damage as I thought it would. Okay, we're good. Now, we need to sell this, and we need to grab ourselves another tower, because the tech tear is not going to work up against purple balloons. So let's grab ourselves a crossbow master. Okay. So it was a little bit sketchy to begin with, but it ended up working out quite nicely, guys. Whew, okay, so I think the crossbow master is a little bit overkill, but I want to focus on just farming. So just because we took down the tier 1 boss, it doesn't mean that we're good to go, because we still need a lot of money, right? Now, the question is, what are we going to do for the tier 2 boss? Now, for the tier 2 boss, I'm thinking about doing the Carpet of Spikes again. And then with the Carpet of Spikes, after we use the Carpet of Spikes, we can swap over to using the Ray of Doom. Now, let's go ahead and grab ourselves another support tower. That way we can make a little bit more money from our BRFs. All right, round 58. Now we need to start debating on what we're going to do for the tier 2 boss. Like I already said, I wanted to use the Carpet of Spikes, because I think the Carpet of Spikes is going to be a really good tower to go for, because it worked out really well for the first tier. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a monkey village. We'll grab a jungle drums, and then let's also grab all of the like upgrades for it. Well, actually, we really can't buy too much, so let's go ahead and try to save up as much money as we can. before round 60. All right, so we can sell this crossbow master for 25,000, so we should have enough money for the carpet spikes. And there's the carpet spikes. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how much damage this tower is doing up against the boss. It's actually doing quite a bit. It's actually doing way more than I initially thought it would. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is I'm worried about round 63. But then again, if we have the carpet spikes, round 63 really shouldn't give us that much of a hard time, right? But let's go ahead and wait a little bit. I don't want to get overzealous here. I was debating on whether or not I should grab like a permabrew, but I think a permabrew would be a little bit of a waste, right? But what we can do, okay, so now that we're immune to support, let's grab ourselves a flying fortress, and there we go. So now that we have the flying fortress, I don't think we need the MIB. No, we should be fine for now. Okay, there we go. So that is the tier 2 down. Let me go ahead and sell the flying fortress and rebuy the crossbow master, because the crossbow master should be more than enough, right? Now, the fun part is going to begin when the tier 3 boss comes. Because normally we go for a paragon, but because we can't place down multiple damaging towers, we're not going to be able to rely on the paragons for this. So we need to rely on a bunch of different mods in order to take on the tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 boss. Now, the real question is, what are we going to do for the tier 3 boss? Because we're not allowed to go for the apex or anything like that. So how are we going to take down a dreadbloon with only one tier 5 tower while using mods? I think now might be a good idea, or a good chance to like test out if the necromancer would be good up against the boss. And then we can also like super buff the necromancer as well. Because when we tested out the necromancer, it was really strong, but that was up against normal balloons. I don't know how well it would do up against a boss balloon, right? All right, you know what? I think it's about time. Let's go ahead and grab the necromancer. So let's sell this. We'll grab the necromancer. Let's go ahead and upgrade up to the top pathway, because I think the top pathway is going to end up like working out the best for us. Yeah, so the raised undead should end up helping us out a ton. All right, now let's go ahead and continue our farming, because even though we have a ton of money, we still need more, right? Because in my opinion, we have nowhere near enough money in order to take on the tier 5 boss. Even though it's the normal boss, it's still going to be a pretty tall order for one tier 5 tower to take on a boss, right? Even though we are using mods. All right, so far so good. Let's go ahead and buy Empower Undead now. Yo, this is where the fun part begins, because Siege from the Underworld is going to cost us $120,000. Which is a little bit cheaper than going for a paragon. But I don't know if it's going to end up working up against the dreadbloon. On top of that, once we get up to the magic immune phase, we're going to have to switch around our strategy a little bit, and we're going to have to buy a different tower, right? So let's go ahead and grab a monkey intelligence bureau. On top of that, let's also grab ourselves the alchemist, and we'll go ahead and grab ourselves the permabrew as well. And then now that we have the permabrew, let's also grab ourselves the passive bat. So the passive bat, nearby towers can be moved once per minute. Nearby towers have a 1/8 chance of critting, dealing 2 times damage. The echo range grants camo detection as well as range for our necromancer. Nearby towers have a chance of attacking twice. And then crits now deal 3 times damage more frequently and provide higher peers. Okay, so this bat, along with the permabrew as well as the MIB, should end up providing us quite a bit of support up against the boss. But the only thing is, I don't know how much support it will provide. Okay, so it's dealing quite a bit of damage. Let's go ahead and grab a Siege from the Underworld, though, because it's not dealing anywhere near as much damage as I thought it would. And then what are we gonna do for the next tier boss? I kind of want to go for. Oh, dude. We're gonna have to go for the flying fortress. Wait. So I'm kind of cheating because this tower is immune to, or like, because apparently this is a magic tower, but at the same time it's not. So I think we're gonna get away with dealing with a tier 3 boss with just one tower. That's kind of cheating, but at the same time we'll take it. But if we didn't end up using the necromancer, I would have swapped over to using the flying fortress. But even though we were able to take down the tier 3 boss, like if you guys like paid attention, Like, this necromancer actually isn't that strong against the boss. Like, if it struggled that much against a tier 3, how are we going to deal with the tier 4, let alone the tier 5? So again, right now, what's most important is just farming, right, guys? Like, we need to have more farms because right now our money is, like, it's good, but it needs to be better in order for us to take on the boss balloon using only one tower. Now, because the necromancer balloon is kind of cheating because it isn't restricted from being able to pop all different types of the dreadbloon, we're gonna go ahead and nix being able to use the necromancer for future tiers because I feel like that would be a little bit too easy. So I ended up grabbing myself quite a few banana centrals. So now for the tier 4 boss, I think what I want to use for the first tier is we're gonna have to use a support tower. So I think what I want to do is I want to go for the spike factory, and because the spike factory should end up working out quite nicely, let's go ahead and grab ourselves the carpet spikes, and then with the carpet spikes, let's go ahead and grab ascended strength, and this is going to increase the damage of our spike factory. Now, I don't know how much it's going to increase the damage, but it should end up working out quite nicely for us. Let's also grab ascended speed as well. That way our spike factory attacks a little bit faster. Yeah, let's go ahead and crank the ascended speed all the way up to like 35. And then we'll crank up the damage up to 50. And then if we need to crank it up more, we can. But I still don't know if this is going to be enough to take on the tier 4 boss. Like, we're placing down a lot of spikes, but even though we're placing down a lot of spikes, I still feel like we might end up struggling a little bit up against the actual boss itself. But then again, we'll see when the time comes, right? All right, so here's round 100. Let's see how... Oh, wow, that's actually doing way more damage than I thought. Okay, so the ascended spike factory is actually pretty OP. But we still need to be careful. Okay, so now it's immune to support. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves the flying fortress. And then with the flying fortress, we'll go ahead and grab a rapid fire. And then we also need to upgrade the strength. So with the strength, let's go ahead and crank this all the way up to 30. And dude, this is so cool. Okay, so like I initially thought like this challenge would be pretty tough, but it's actually not that hard to be completely honest. Like this is actually working out way better than I thought. Like this almost makes me believe that I can take on the elite dreadbloon doing the same thing. Yeah, so definitely the hardest part of this challenge was just making it past the tier 1 boss. Like the tier 1 boss was the only one that stood a chance of beating us. Like honestly, this challenge is a little bit easier than I thought. I think I need to come up with a couple more restrictions if we end up taking on the elite. Like maybe if we end up taking on the elite, we're only allowed to use one of each tower. So like say I use the carpet spikes for the tier 1, then I'm not allowed to use it for the rest of the boss event. Same thing with the flying fortress. And then on top of that, I think I need to be a little bit like restrictive with the ascended mod as well, because I don't know. Well, actually the ascended mod is probably the only reason why we can actually do this, unless we use modded towers, of course. This is so rough. Like, let me know in the comments below, like, what restrictions you got or I should place on this if I ended up taking on the elite dreadbloon doing the same thing. Right, so we have the tier 5 boss coming up next. We have the 100. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, little bit broken, little bit overpowered, but I need to go ahead and grab myself another tower. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a crossbow master, and then let's go ahead and beef up our boy. Let's grab a bunch of ascended strength, and then after we grab ascended strength, let's go ahead and grab ascended speed as well. That way our crossbow master attacks a little bit faster, and then after he attacks a little bit faster, dude, like this is so crazy. Okay, yeah, dude. Tier 5 with Dart Monkey with the ascended mod, it just doesn't, or is just on a whole nother level, dudes. Let's go ahead and crank it up to 100 speed, and then let's go ahead and crank this one up to 100 damage as well. Yeah, like we're shredding this boss. So 100 speed and 100 damage. Look at this damage counter go up, dude. Man, the crossbow master has never been so strong. But there we have it, dudes. We have officially beaten the tier 5 boss using nothing but 1 damage tower. Now, the mods that I used were a little bit stronger than I initially thought, but nonetheless, we still ended up beating the boss using only 1 tower. But anyways, dudes, that's gonna do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, if you guys are new around here, don't forget to subscribe as well, because I do upload daily BT6 content. But anyways, dudes, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.